Warning, warning. Proceed with caution. Hazardous conditions ahead. Slippery when wet. Watch for falling objects. Prepare yourself for entering the mind and thoughts of Mark Herbert Schmidt. 20 minutes to leave your mark.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Halfy Hour with Mark Herbert Schmidt. You may know him from other episodes such as 20 Minutes to Leave Your Mark, and then a random one where I just posted on Facebook and said, hey, and this is years ago, anyone want to be on? And then Mark showed up at my house. So that was pretty cool. Now, the thing with that is that's like a 3 year, I think that was 3 years ago. I had a memory.
Dude, that had to be longer than that.
Maybe it was 4 years ago. I had a memory that was like popped up, and I released it around this time. And
I was thinking probably about 4 years, probably.
Yeah, because pod's been around for 5 years. You weren't a part of the first year, so it must have been the end of the second year. And then I kind of like floated off. And then I had jumped. I was still paying for it every month, and months had gone by. And then I had looked at. I want to log in, kind of see. Oh, got some downloads. You know what? That fired me up. I'm going to go do it. And then when I started back up again, I thought, how do I want to start back up? And that's when we started with full Bobby cast, pre-menopause, and then 20 Minutes to Leave Your Mark. And then now it's evolved into Halfy Hour, just like on Kingpin, where the Amish they go. That's how it came about. Where half an hour, but they do it and
everything plus a half.
So
my brother said they're going to do a Kingpin too, man.
Really?
Yeah, like Fairly Brothers or something.
Oh man, that'd be fun. What was the last movie that they've done that you can remember?
Last one that they've done?
Yeah. I
know they did Dumb and Dumber 2. I'm trying to think if they did something since that. It's probably been a while, though.
All right. So, I haven't even checked this yet, so we're going to jump right in. All right. So, maybe Travis will let you crash the party tonight and unleash the trilogy, Hollygraph. A lot of fun with Hollygraph. That was a very funny... she's been trying to sell this couch forever, and she's probably sold it by now. She's offered to drop it on my lawn, and I swear if it shows up when this gets released, it'll be after Father's Day. But if it lands on Father's Day, I'm gonna fight somebody.
We'll revenge. She might just adopt Sophia.
But yeah, your picture was pretty dang funny, where you had put
Corbin Dallas.
Yeah, you photoshopped the picture of her couch on the roof with your couch, and then the Full Body Cast logo. That's pretty creative. What program did you use with that? Was that Adobe? What'd you do?
Oh, no, just some shitty phone.
That was good. How long did it take you?
Oh, maybe 3 minutes.
Oh, man, I was impressed.
That's what I do all my memes with, is that stuff. Just rotate it, shrink it.
No retreat, no surrender. Let's see. Did anyone comment on your thing of we should... Because you've probably got a chance to look at it. I had my uncle who's agreed. The Dad How Do I uncle has agreed to come on the podcast. So nice. I'm excited to have him on. He's built up enough of a reputation where I can't tarnish it quite yet, but I'm going to do my darndest. All right, Mark, you posted, what are some things? There's 2 comments. That wasn't all the way English, but I'd like for you guys to please discuss why you don't want my couch to be your couch's friend, and please also advertise that my couch is for sale for now $49. So she dropped it. Photo for reference. Another annoying blonde chick not included. No.
I told her I'd do it. I said if she pays me $48, I'll take it to Goodwill, and I'll use the other $2 to buy a Choco Taco, and I'll put it inside the cushion for the lucky new owner.
You got a list for us today?
I didn't bring a list because I didn't know what the format was.
That's okay. We're going to roll with it. So here's the thing, Mark. We're going to have this conversation on air.
Okay.
I think it always adds to the drama to have the real behind the scenes podcast conversation. Now, you and I have been messaging off and on. Mm-hmm. And this is full disclosure for everybody out there right now. I enjoy Mark. I like Mark. This is for him as well. And so Mark is, I've really wanted him to push into doing his own, and I'll promote it. I'll get guests lined up. We'll get this out there for Mark to do his own podcast, because I think he's got a lot of unleashed ability and talent. And I was watching, actually today by chance, a YouTube video, actually a Facebook video. It was an interview done by Howard Stern with Sarah Silverman. And Sarah Silverman, funny comedian, and he asked her, like, hey, were there anybody back in the day that you were in the comedy clubs with that you felt were like, how come these guys aren't out there? How come these guys aren't crushing it right now? How come they're not a part of it? Because they're funny. And she goes, oh yeah, there's a lot of people that were funnier than her. But she said eventually people just, they don't, whether it's not support or whether, no one, something happens in their life where, maybe they have a kid or they get married and things just start to kind of like, you're not able to have the opportunity, put in the hard work and all that. And it got me thinking about Mark, and I'm telling you this is the real deal, Holyfield. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you hookers and hoes know how it feels. What song?
I have no idea.
It's this and like that and like this.
I still don't know who does that.
That's fine. So anyway, I really want Mark to do a podcast on his own. Now, I need Full Buddy Cast listeners to do their best to support him with that venture. I'm talking, he is a guy that needs feedback. He really wants to be funny. He really wants to be entertaining. He really wants to be fun for everyone to listen to. So he wants feedback to, hey, how long are the episodes? What do you want to hear about? What is it that if you were to listen to it, on what day of the week would you listen to? Like, this is something where it's even now, even these episodes that we do, and I can't, I wish I could fit, just because of logistics, scheduling, timing, my own self. The way I record, and you guys already know this, Mondays is Brouhaha, and we've got guests coming in for that, and I've got a scheduled guest coming in and schedule with Sean when we're going to have it. Not only that, but also the live events that we do. Tuesdays is the oddball that I release out there. Today released the Homer, the vet with Mark, that Mark completely forgot that.
I thought you already released it.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that later on in the episode as well. Because it was very funny how we'll talk about it. Did you listen to it? Were you able to listen to it?
No, but it sounds like I just Alex Jones hijacked it.
Yes. Not, but in a Mark way.
Yeah.
Right? In a Mark way. So, and then Thursdays, usually I have Wednesdays off, or I might release a special one because I have only so much bandwidth. With the bandwidth, that means that who I use, which is Libsyn. Libsyn is the provider for where I upload the podcast. They shoot out to Apple and Spotify and iHeartRadio, and they store my logo. They store my, all the content. They archive it every month. And so I only have so many megabytes that I can release, and I'm almost at the top tier. So I'm spending some money on this to be able to put out all this stuff. Patreon really helps offset that cost. So thank you very much for those Patreons out there. And so then I have Thursday with Joey, Holler with Hollenbeck, and then Friday Garage Night with Craig and Corey, who I also have to coordinate with them every 2 weeks to record 2 episodes a night, so I can release those Friday. So as you can tell, I'm a busy guy. If I'm releasing on average 4 episodes a week, that means that in 2 weeks, that's 14 days, and not Sunday or Saturday, because I don't do any recording on Sunday or Saturday. So that's 10 days in 2 weeks where I'm recording 4 nights out of those weeks. And then factor in kids, factor in date nights with my wife, factor in just getting invited over to whatever, and scheduling that. So I don't have time to really do another episode. Now, if I got paid, if there's a sponsor out there and you love Mark and you're like, I friggin' love Mark and I will pay X amount, talk to me. I know the amount. Mark knows the amount. Talk to Mark. A week to listen to Mark. Then, yeah, for sure. I'll release it with another, like if I, it'll be an FBC production, whatever. I'm cool with that. But what I really want to talk about, what I really want you to think about and consider is doing it on your own. Mm-hmm. Now, we're a vulnerable podcast as well. I'm going to pour this beer. While I'm pouring it, please tell me why or what could be some roadblocks and some hang-ups on starting your own podcast.
Got to have people to do podcasts with, like almost every time we release, I leave comments like, hey, does anybody got any topics? Because I like the participation. I think as a listener, like listeners that get a call in and talk to the DJs and stuff, like you call in Jubal, when the listeners get to participate, it makes it more fun because you actually are part of the show. So for me, like when we record, I'll say like, hey, what do you guys want to hear? Like, give me something to kind of like roll with, so you are a part of it, and it makes it fun for you guys, because then at least when it drops, you guys have something to look forward to, because you know that you came up with one of the topics that we talk about. So for me, even if I'm not recording, just being able to BS with people, hear some ideas, bounce ideas back and forth. Like, I mean, we could be laying the groundwork even before we record. Mm-hmm. We could start thinking of tons of ideas, tons of themes, and then get it all structured, start drawing out the blueprints of everything, and then just trying different things out, but kind of have a game plan set rather than just trying to wing it. That way, if you have it kind of structured and you got a bunch of input from a bunch of people, especially people that would want to be a part of it.
Right. So what I get consistently is people, shout out to Amanda Keating and Desi B and Holly Graff and these people that will message me and tell me what they think about the episodes. Kellen Hall, Jared Skelly. There's a lot of people that will hit me up and like, hey, listen to the episode. This is what I think. This is what I like. This is what I didn't like. So I get that feedback, right? Feedback is huge, but everybody wants a podcast. Mm-hmm. The podcast is the goatee and tramp stamp of where we're at right now in life. Everyone thinks that they have something to say. Everyone thinks that they're funny. Everyone thinks that, hey, I'm funny at dinner parties. I should do a podcast. Like, and I don't even know what dinner parties are. Like, I know that people say dinner parties, but in reality, I think that's a 1950s term. Like, so maybe you're funny at a barbecue. Maybe you're funny at a...
Well, that kind of goes back to the Sarah Silverman thing. You could be hilarious around your friends, but when it comes to doing stand-up in front of a crowd of people...
A little different.
If you are impacted too much by the crowd not responding to you, you could totally just face plant.
Right.
And so, like for me with recording with you.
Yeah.
If me and you recorded and we didn't even release it, for me, it's more like I like to be in a creative environment.
Yeah.
So it could help me just think of new ideas and new funny stuff to talk about. And it doesn't even matter if it like nobody hears it. It's just more like wanting to be around people that give you those triggers. And so that's mainly for what it is for me. So that way, if there's people that are actually interested in recording, we could just BS, have some beers, think of ideas, and just right there, just start jotting stuff down.
Yeah. So I guess that's the next thing. Okay. With Mark, again, I will promote it. I'll go on it. I'll do it. But Mark is the type of guy, he's easy to have a conversation with. He's going to have to try a new role of hosting. Mm-hmm. You're a great guest. I can volleyball you as something and then you can run with it. As a host, it's a little different.
Oh, yeah, right? 100%. Like, that's part of the reason why I flow good is because I got you talking to me.
Right.
It's a huge thing.
I agree. When it comes to bringing people on, though, I have girls, Veronica and Desi, that are like, oh, it would be so fun to do a girls podcast. It would be great if we do a wives podcast or talk about this or talk about that. And the thing with me is, that sounds fun, but I can't do that. I just don't have the again, same thing why I can't do something with you as well, right? So my daughter's coming in. Hey,
I got an idea.
What?
If they want to split it, whatever your number was, we could split it and we could just do it together. They could throw in all their own stuff and I could just jump in with them and kind of just do a collaboration.
All right, go. Go. I will get not happy. Okay, love you. Go play. Go jump on the trampoline. Have fun. Go have fun.
Pushed Jay once.
Yes. 2 times.
You can give her that cider in the fridge.
Love you. Is it just cider?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that if someone wants to kind of partner with you on it,
Like if the girls want to do a girls podcast
on that Tuesday,
we could try out the different banner,
dude,
and we could go ahead in halves.
Yeah, and I'm cool with. I feel like the coolest thing, like look at Cheers, spun off and became Frasier, right? Those were fun to me to have some spin-off show that where it kept it going. Friends tried it with Joey and it didn't work too well.
Joey sucks. He was in a movie with a monkey playing baseball. Matt LeBlanc.
But I'd like you to be a spin-off as well. Like that would be fun for me. I would know that would be that's what I want. I want you to spin off. I will still have you on.
Oh, I'm totally down if you teach me how to do it and I got people to actually do it with me. That's the main thing, is having people that actually want to do it. So like if Desi and them want to do like some girls podcast,
yes,
we could just split the cost and then just go on that separate.
Yeah, figure it out.
Yeah.
And again, you guys can use my equipment, your own banner. I'll give you a friend discount on some of that. I'll teach you. I will walk you through. Yeah. So anyway, if you guys are interested, you guys know Mark, hit him up. We had a little shout out to Amanda Keating as well. Little shout out to Amanda Keating. Amanda, thank you for inviting us to your 30th birthday party, letting us crash it, and then moving it from Cole Street to Mazatlan. That was a lot of fun to go do that. Should have hit you up.
I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, well, she posted on Facebook. I knew that I was just going to stop in, and then I got sucked into it. So it wasn't going to be
What time was it anyway?
It was on Monday. It was at like 5:30.
Yeah, I just got back from work around that time.
Next time I'll hit you up.
I'm doing a side gig.
I saw that. No, can we promote that?
If you want to.
Yeah, let's
I'm
go.
sure he would love it. He's actually looking to hire people if anybody's looking for a job.
Who is it?
It's Brendan Salstrom, I believe his last name is. He has a moving company in Enumclaw called Moving Made Easy.
And so they're based in Enumclaw, but do they do everywhere? Do they go?
Yeah, we actually, I was telling you on Sunday, I was meeting him at his place, and I was like, so where's the job today? And he's like, it's in West Seattle. I go, I grew up in West Seattle. We're out in West Seattle.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's like, 101st Street. I go, dude, I grew up on that street, man.
No way.
And he's like, I'm like, dude, this is going to be nuts. I'm like, if you say it's 4404, dude, I'm just going to flip, dude. We go there. It's 3 houses down from where I live, dude.
That's incredible.
Dude, this house was huge, dude. Like it's deceiving on the outside, but it was a big house. But they moved over to is it Snake Island?
Over by Lake Tapps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to go through a gate and type in security code to get to their
Each
place.
time?
It's like right back in the cove, dude. It's like primo spot.
Dude, that's crazy. Did you okay, I got to talk about this for a second. I can't stand moving, dude. I hate it. Moving's the worst. It's the absolute friggin' worst. It's the absolute worst thing in the world.
I hate move my own shit, but
this
I have
is
no
a
problem
bad-
helping other people move.
Really?
When you're not attached to shit, it's easy. When you don't have to sit there and go down memory lane with anything, it's so easy. The one thing I've noticed though, when I've helped so many people move, it's like insane, dude. But the one thing I always see is people always see what room they want to put furniture in, but they never measure how they're going to get it through the doorways.
So are you the one that's like, oh, you're getting the doorways and going upstairs and downstairs?
Oh, anytime I move, I'm always like measuring the width. Like I'm always like, am I going to have the right angle? Because I've gone through that with so many other people. I'm like Dane, we helped him move and he realized he couldn't even get his couch in his place. So it became just like a couch on the front porch at Donald's, man.
Are you serious? You couldn't get it like...
It wouldn't fit in where he needed to go because he was living in the basement at Donald Jute's place.
Oh.
And we're like, well, I guess it's a front porch couch.
That's funny.
But it happens all the time with people. Like, we had to move one of those big massage chairs in this lady's place, and we had to like pull off the foot part, that your feet go in.
Yeah.
And we cleared it by maybe a half an inch, dude.
Really?
Like we had to pivot it in a certain angle.
Now, are people watching you while you're doing this?
They watch us.
And they're like, add some pressure? You feel like you're like playing baseball again?
For me, it's not hard because for me, at my job, I get sabotaged. People will just make a mess, but there's no accountability. They don't take ownership of it. So I'm stuck with okay, how am I going to solve this puzzle where when I'm working with this guy, he's got enough people that I already know how to pack stuff and, what's going to be heavy that needs to be the base. So you're not going to break anything, scratch anything. So I don't have to do the thinking. I just go, where do you want it? And so it's easy. All I do is just hand stuff, move stuff. And so it's just cake because I don't have to be the guy with the burden on my shoulders.
Do you get wore out?
Me?
Yeah.
My back's sore as hell, but that's just because it's always pinched.
So you're making a little side money on this thing. Are you trying to afford the weekly amount for the podcast?
That's why I pitched that is because I'm now that I got this side work, I'm hey, when we originally were talking with hey, maybe we could do a weekly spot.
Yeah. I
was well, I can't afford to do that right now, but because I got a little side gig, I'm okay, I can't offer a full-on sponsorship because I don't have a business. But I'm if there's nobody else offering something, then at least if I'm offering something, then it kind of helps you out to some degree.
There we go. And maybe we can even talk about moving made easy a little bit more.
Yeah.
We can even do a podcast of we just talk about what did you move this past weekend? I don't know.
We'll tell the customers' names. We'll get their address.
Here's their address. Here's what they have. It's cool stuff.
He's a cool guy though, but he's looking to hire people. The hard thing with a job like that is you could find anybody willing to do work, but can you find somebody that you could trust? Because there's some people that might steal somebody's stuff.
Yeah.
There's people that might scratch or break antique stuff.
Let me tell you this. One of my buddies did a friend test. We didn't know this at the time. He was moving from one place to the other. He's like, hey guys, this Saturday show up. And who can make it, who can't make it. And so half the group text said, yeah, I could make it. The other half said, no, can't make it. Sorry. Well, the day that we're supposed to move, we wake up to get ready to get going. He tells us the time. And half hour, an hour before the time, he sends us a video that the old place was completely moved out already.
Mm-hmm.
And the new place was completely full and moved. So he had already done the moving, whether he used movers or not. Yeah. But it was a friend test.
I like that.
To see who would knuckle down and go do it. But we were like, yes, we're in our late 30s, dude. Thank you for getting a moving company. Now, back when we were in our mid-20s, moving from an apartment to apartment or whatever, that makes sense. But when you get older in life, you're just I don't want to move myself. You said the same thing, right? You said I wouldn't want to move myself.
It's hard because I don't know. I'm not like my dad where I'm a hoarder, but it's just I mentally just shut down. I get overwhelmed. But when it's other people's stuff, I'll crush it all day, dude. I'm really good at organizing shit when it's not mine.
Tetris. The Tetris mind.
Dude, I just got to start doing a Tetris shirt, man.
So that was awesome. But I'm I'm going to get movers from now on. If I ever have to move again, it's Mover City. And the weird thing is this sucks for me. Okay. Because I've been helping all these fools move.
Mm-hmm.
And I've known that I've had to make my big move. And I don't know if I have to make my big move anymore.
Well, I'll help you no matter what.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But all these people that I've helped throughout the years move and just move once or even twice, all of a sudden now it's like it's like finding that coupon that has expired in your wallet.
Yeah. It's like fucking Jersey Mike's. That was last month, dude. I was totally craving that giant sub. Dude, I got a stack of ones that expired. They handed me a stack of ones at work, and I was like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm just going to be slaying subs every single day. And then I'm like, fuck, dude, that was last week.
Yeah,
Did I remember what I told you? I won that air hockey table at the Kingdom for the last indoor paper.
No, you never told me that. Tell the story.
The problem when I do these podcasts is I can't remember what I already told, right, so I'm not trying to be a broken record.
The great thing about this podcast, though, too, is that you can continue. I tell the same story. Some people probably listen to this at some point and go, oh, yeah, you told this last week or the week before about me, right?
Only the people that tune in every week are going to catch it.
Shout out to Amanda, Holly, and Desi and those other fools that love me. But
if you catch me repeating, I'll buy you a drink.
Ooh. At Cole Street, though.
But if it gets past a certain amount, then I'm just going to have to say, hey, I'll honor the first one, but after that, I got to say, hey, IOUs or it stops at 1.
All right, so tell me the story about at the last game of the Kingdom.
So they had an indoor paper airplane throwing contest at the Kingdom before they imploded it. And they give you these big sheets of paper, and you could use tape and you could use paper clips to get weight on them. And if you could get a plane to glide all the way to center field, or the center of the field, and go into the sunroof of a Volkswagen Bug, you get it. And they had circles all around the field, and if you hit the circles, you win all the prizes. So I was like, I'm just going to make those straight up dart planes.
Yeah.
And just fucking launch them. I think Homer was in my science class. I think I threw one of my dart planes. I think it was 44 fucking meters or some shit. I fucking launched this son of a bitch out in the fucking football field.
Wow.
I had all these paper clips on it and stuff.
Yeah.
But I threw it and hit the circle for an air hockey table. And they announced my name over the loudspeaker because my plane was on the circle. I go down there and they're like, yeah, you didn't win. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean I didn't win it? I'm like, you called my fucking name out over it, dude. They gave me some consolation prize, which was a bunch of bullshit that expired in a week, dude.
Oh my gosh. You could still have that air hockey table today.
It's more like I probably would have never done anything with it, but it's more just the principle out of all people that are going to get fucked over, it's going to be me.
And that's where we go with this podcast idea. It's not that Mark doesn't have, Mark he wants to be cautious with this. He doesn't want to just jump into this thing because he really enjoys it. What would make you feel better about starting your own podcast, but what do you need? It's like swimming. You want to grip on the side of the wall a little bit. Do you want to continue to us do it?
Oh, I the whole thing is for me, like I said, even if we never released it, I enjoy it because it's pretty much the only time we get to hang out.
Right.
So even if we just listen to it for ourselves or just we re-listen to 10 years later and laugh at it and shit.
Right.
If we didn't release it, I'd be totally content with that. Releasing it is just fun because we get to see what other people think of it. But the main things for me would be, obviously, you teach me how to do it. But it's mainly just having, because you always find somebody that's drunk at a bar and
right.
Let's go do something. Yeah. And it's how many people are follow through. It's when you're giving out the awards and you said I was the most prepared.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing is I may not be a good
You have one of the best memories in the world, by the way.
I may not be a good interviewer.
Yeah.
But if somebody else, let's say Desi and them want to do something and we win in halves with the cost of sponsorship.
Right.
If they wanted to be the interviewers and I was Jack Tripper on Three's Company, just jumping in Mr. Furley, just
sure.
hey, if they want to be the interviewers, I could try to work on ideas and feedback of what can we do with themes? What can we do? You know what I mean?
Right.
I may not be, like I said, it's more like the shake and bake thing. Will Ferrell wins the races.
You're right.
But John C. Reilly sets him up.
So I've thought of this before. I've actually thought of an actual podcast name, and I don't know if I could ever do it because of the other stuff I got going on. Unless you came as a guest on all of these different ones, and we could work on that. I got to talk to the other people and see if that's going to be a thing. But I was thinking, what if we did Mark Week, Shark Week?
Mm-hmm.
You know, where what would you name your podcast?
Mark Manatee Madness, dude.
Mark's Manatee Madness?
Yeah, remember that manatee tank with all the topic balls that I did the Photoshop thing that I showed you?
Yes, but see, here's the thing: no one's gonna know that, so they're not gonna. That you need to think of a good. The name's good.
Yeah.
What would you name it?
I'd have to put more thought into it. You know me, mine's all about the obscure, like weird reference. You know?
Yeah,
that's just kind of my forte.
Yeah, the obscure weird reference is good for like an episode title.
Yeah,
absolutely. But when it comes to like the actual name, like my name, it's Full Buddy Cast. It's a podcast. It has all my buddies, so it's full of my buddies.
Yeah,
Full Buddy Cast. So it explains it a little bit. So think about the nice, you know, and then we'll get you some. I believe in this. I really believe in this. I feel like you would do so good, and it'd be like me. Like I'm saying, hey, you could probably play like 4 games a season, on this rec league. But in my mind, I'm like, this guy could play NBA. Like you could literally play NBA, and it's just a matter of just grinding it out. But I do believe, like, I would not offer this to everybody or anybody at all. You have the talent. You have it. And I feel like I'm almost like holding you back in a sense where I feel like you have the world in front of you. And these people want to be on. One of the things that I tell people, and I'll tell you this right now, is that I started looking at this podcast. I used to want to just get my cookie cutter guest. Cookie cutter, everyone knows them, and we have our cookie cutter conversation with our cookie cutter audience, and everything's cookie cutter. Right? Anyway, the reality is, what makes Sesame Street fun? What makes the Muppets fun? What makes Saturday Night Live fun? It's the variety of characters and the variety of people and the variety of personalities, the variety of thoughts. That's what it makes it entertaining. You've got some people that you'll tune in for. There's some people that you will skip right through. You won't even listen to them. Why make everything cookie cutter when you can make it this community of just people that are entertaining, whether they're funny, whether they're serious, whether they're oddballs, whether they're straight-laced, like put them all together and you have a good team. So you fit well.
So like Schmitty's shuffle sessions or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like shuffle in your playlist.
Yeah.
You don't have a set order. It's just kind of like you tune in and the stuff you like to listen to is going to come on, but you don't know when, so you got to tune in and listen to the whole thing because you don't know what's going to pop in. Kind of like when we were talking about if I recorded, like, let's say if you recorded your friends, like, in advance, and you told me what the topic was, and then I did some, commented on some of the stuff you talked about, like, with your themes of your podcast on the different nights, and then you did, like, the little toasty thing for Mortal Kombat, where you randomly, you don't even know where I'm going to pop in on the episode, but it's, like, a minute of just some weird random comment on the other podcast throughout the week. And it's like, you have no idea when it's going to pop up. It's just going to be like a quick tidbit and that's it.
Yes.
And you just pre-record it, but you already give me the heads up of what you're going to be talking about.
And I've kicked it around, guys. Here's the thing. I've kicked it around where I'm like, man, if I could just sit here with Mark and we did 5-minute segments and I just tagged them on to the end of an episode. So you'd hear the intro, full episode, hear the outro, and then you'd know that you got 5 minutes with Mark. I've thought about that. But then the other thing that I'm thinking about though is that it's like, well, it takes a while to get rolling. Right? It takes it's like anything. It's like when you're working out or whether, starting a car, like you kind of sputter and start and then it takes like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to loosen up, and then the next thing you know, you're having a good time. Now, we're getting close to shutting this one down, believe it or not. We've talked about a lot. I did say that we were going to talk about the episode today that I released. Okay. We released the one with Homer the vet. Mark completely forgot that we did another one. Mark also texts me and goes, "Hey, when are we going to do another one?" I'm like, "Dude, I still got what I got to release."
I honestly thought you released it already.
Yeah, no. So the first episode, so Mark hit me up. Mark loves podcasting. This is why I'm like, hey, maybe you should just do your own, because I don't have the capacity to continue to give you what you want. Not say that it's not a good goal. It's not a good thing. I think it's a great goal and it's a great thing, but I just don't have the capacity with what I have. So Mark says, hey, I'll just come on at some point and just like be a guest. But I won't even be a guest. I'll be a co-host. I'll rarely talk. I'll be the guy in the background that laughs at the jokes, and I'll jump in on these types of things. And the first episode, he did that to a T. He was very good. Made some very funny comments, very funny references, very funny things. The second episode, and I've been there before. We've all been there. We're all toddlers in our head. We've all been there when we know, hey, mom told me to be good, but I kind of want to be bad right now. And I know that I want to have as much fun as I possibly can. We remember like being at your cousin's house or being at like a friend's house, and like your mom came to pick you up, or maybe it's time to leave. And you're like, no, 5 more minutes. And then you, in those 5 more minutes, you like did everything possible. Like you did as much fun as you possibly can. You ran from station to station to do what you needed to do. This was Mark in the second episode. Mark knew the Indiana Jones door was shutting. And
I just read an article where Spielberg said it was reckless for him to do that big boulder scene.
Yeah. And he was like, Holly Graff said it the best, where she's like, it's so funny at the end where Mark's like, so my friend, I'm like, no, we gotta end this thing. Homer is the guest on this thing. And Mark knew that his window was starting to dwindle. He probably knew he had another 2 weeks to a month before he could get on the microphone again. I understand that. I'm the same way at the casino. At the casino, I'm like, oh, well, I want to have fun and I need to take more money out. I end up losing more. So anyway, if Mark had his own show, then he could just. So yeah, second episode, that was you.
The funny thing though is with the first one, I could tell he was going deep. So it's like, all right, this is not appropriate to interrupt him because he's like talking about real shit. The second one was kind of more just like having fun. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to interrupt like something where he's like telling a serious story. So that one is just kind of like, fuck it. Like
I agree.
Train wheels came off like Brennan's bike from Goonies, dude.
I see that now. Okay, because at that time I was like, you're right. The first one was more.
It was his story.
It was his story. It was like who he, like where he, like after high school, going to war, going to.
It just wasn't the appropriate time to chime in. It was a serious one.
Yeah, and then the second one was more goofball-y, more off the wall stuff. That makes more sense. But let me just tell you, you had that throttle fully open,
dude. It's like Josh Brolin when they're holding on to his fucking little kid bike and they're driving, and then the train wheels come flying off and sparking and shit, and he just ghost rides right off the cliff in Goonies. Remember that shit?
Listen, if you're a sponsor out there, if you're moving made easy and you want to get a little sponsorship going, with Mark, it doesn't have to be X amount a week, but if it's X amount a month, then I will hard line him in. If it's not every Tuesday, then he gets every other Tuesday or every other Wednesday. Again, it's going to be something to where we can work it out. But my big thing is I feel like you should start your own.
Well, like I said, I'm totally down to do something if I got other people.
I'll support you.
Yeah. Like if I got other people that want to jump on.
Yeah.
Because for me, like, I don't have to be like, it's got to be me. It's just like, I just got to have people to collaborate with.
Right.
People to just bounce off with. So if anybody else wants to kind of try it out.
Commit it.
Well, if somebody else is interested in trying to do a podcast too, we could just split the cost and get like maybe 2 or 3 of us and just go in on it, and we could share it equally where we all just kind of have fun with it.
Here's the thing. I completely think Because, see, you're a single guy.
Mhm.
I'm married, kids, all that.
Yeah.
I'm a limited guy. I completely think that you could grow bigger than what I've got.
Mhm.
Easily. Quicker. I start out with like 12 downloads. I told you this right. 12 downloads, like when I would release it initially, it'd be like 12 downloads for the day. If I got to 20, I was like, hip, hip, hooray.
Razzle daddle, boom,
Yeah.
shakalaka.
Yeah.
NBA jams, dude.
Yeah, and I've grinded, and you know the number.
Oh, I know you've grinded.
But it's like I've grown, but I've also started to see that it's not. I thought it was the podcast; it's the culture.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I went down to Amanda's birthday for her 30th and invited Desi and sent that out to her and a few others. It's like, hey, we're gonna. It's a culture. We go down to Cold Street on Friday nights after a garage night. It's a culture. We're going to go say hi to the people. We're going to go hang out with the people. We're going to go talk to the people.
Well, that's why I told you, the second it no longer becomes fun, then you got to pump the brakes. Kind of like what you're saying. Like, you're being honest. Like, for me, like I said, this is our time to hang out. Right. Like, besides the podcast, we don't really have time to hang out.
I almost went to a movie that you posted about. How long ago was that?
Which one?
Sheesh.
Was it Quiet Place 2?
It was like 3 weeks ago.
It was like
The
2
Wrath
weeks
of Man?
ago.
It was like, hey, I'm going to this movie.
Oh, Conjuring 3?
And I was like, I honestly had like a window of like 6 hours, 5 hours. And I was like, dude, I might go catch this movie with Mark.
The last one I saw was Cruella. It was actually good, dude.
Is it nice to be back in the movie?
Hell yeah, dude. Well, again, for me, like, I'm somebody like, I fucking go nuts, dude, like sitting at home by myself.
Yeah.
And so, like with the podcast, like you were talking about the culture, I have the mindset of I've spent so many years of my life trying to make something happen, trying to control the situation, and it's just you beat your head against the wall. So it's kind of more like if my main goal is to enjoy it and have fun with my friends. If my main goal is to have fun with my friends, that's why I said if anybody else wants to kind of do what I'm doing or kind of wants to try to do the same thing, it's like, let's go in on it. Like, it doesn't have to be Mark's podcast. It's like, let's just take advantage of this sister opportunity, like a branch off. And it's like, if you're willing to help us do it and we're still kind of doing, you're still the parent company, like, the podcast because you're helping us out.
Right.
It's like, if we could help get a spin-off going and other people want to try it out, it's like we could just try it out if we crash and burn, whatever, but you don't know until you try it. And so if anybody else wants to jump in and say like, because for me, it's because I got a side job. I don't want to overcommit and say I could afford a certain amount and then work slows down and I can't afford to do it. So if I say I could afford X amount of money, and then if anybody else wants to say, hey, like the girls, if they want to jump in and do it, it's like, hey, I'm all for it. Even if I kind of helped support them and just kind of jumped in and was like a guest on theirs, I'm cool with that. For me, I just like to have fun and BS with people. That's really what it's all about because I'm a social person and I lose my mind when I can't socialize with people.
I agree. And so we're going to cut Mark off because he loves to socialize. Just kidding. But we're coming to the end. And then I want to talk more about your socializing on the next one. And then we'll hit some random questions that I got for you. But I really wanted to have the sit down talk. So, hey.
I liked it, man.
Yeah. If you're out there, know that this is an appetite for Mark to move into another realm, starting his own thing. I would love for him to be bigger than Full Buddy Cast. I would love for him to be as big as Joe Rogan, because then I could like jump on and then I could have fun. That's the other thing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But please let him know, let me know that, hey, I would love to be a guest for the first 5 episodes. I'll be one of those first 5. And we'll go that route. And if you're interested in splitting the costs and figuring that out, or if you're interested even in sponsoring him, or if you're interested in getting hired at Moving Made Easy.
I got something else I'll throw in there.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to help me get this going, wants to help me collaborate or even help with the sponsorship, if they hire Moving Made Easy to do a job, I'll tell my boss, I'm working for free today. Like, my wage is on the house for them. Like, it's a friend support me. So, like, if I'm working a 10-hour day, you don't pay me. You just take it off their bill.
All right. Okay. That's a big thing. So you're going to support you for a while. That means that they're going to be like for that month or whatever.
Like, if they support me and they have to have a moving job, as long as they let him know that we're friends and they're using, the call out to support the business, that you're hollering out over the radio. If I'm working that day, then I'll say, hey, they use the podcast. That's where they heard from you and they wanted to hire you for their mover. So if I'm working that day, like if that's a day where I'm working, just go, I'm working for free. Like whatever I would have made that day. If I make a certain amount, no matter what it is, take it off their bill. Let's say I make more than what their bill would have been, then whatever, I just get the leftover. But I'll do that. Okay. All right. You work it out with Mark. You hit him up if you need to get moved or whatever. Hit him up. That's good sponsorship. It pays for itself. It's an investment, man. It's a good investment. All right. Everyone, thanks so much for listening. Hit us up. Talk to us. Give us feedback. I'm spitting everywhere because Mark brought a double IPA and I'm like halfway. It's the glitter, dude. Dude, I'm hurting right now. Go hit up Cole Street Brewery. Go hit up Mazalon. Go hit up Bordeaux Wine Bar. Mention the podcast. Get a discount. I can't guarantee that every discount is the same, but I can tell you this. 15% at Cole Street. Go ahead, Mark. We should hire Moving Made Easy to move Holly's couch so she could shut the fuck up about it. I completely concur. In fact, everyone in the email discussion board does too. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Love you. Enjoy your lives. And hit us up. Give us the feedback that we need. Rock over Enumclaw. Roll over Ravensdale. Cheetos. Now eating with tongs. Get those fucking napkins.
Hazardous conditions ahead. Slippery when wet. Watch for falling objects. Prepare yourself for entering the mind and thoughts of Mark Herbert Schmidt. 20 minutes to leave your mark.